I have a few more examples of this simple interest type stuff that I want to take a look at. So there's a couple more variations on the theme of, by and large, they're all going to build off the same type formula. So let's take a look. So we've got an example a little bit further on in the notes. I'm kind of going out of sequence here. I apologize, but two of the examples, they work pretty well together, but they're not together in the notes. My bad. So we're given a problem where we're told that we're going to invest $1,500. We're given our simple interest rate of 5.6%, and we want to know how long it takes for us to hit a certain threshold in terms of total investment. You could technically do this two different ways, because we're told we want to know how long it takes the investment to grow to $1,600. You could use that as a future value and then invoke that future value formula that we saw in the previous video. I think it's actually easier, though, in this instance to deal with it directly in terms of interest, because if we started with $1,500 and the investment's grown to $1,600, how much interest is accrued? Yeah, $100. So in this case, well, we know our principal is $1,500. We're told our interest rate was 5.6%, as is customary. I'll convert that into a decimal. We don't know T this time. That's the thing we're after. But we know that the interest that's built up is $100. Again, I think it's easier to maneuver this way than it is to worry about calculating out, anything from the future value formula. So that means our interest in our formula, the I, the guy that was off by itself on the left, is 100. Principal times interest rate times T. And we want this guy by its lonesome. So divide both sides of the equation. Again, if you didn't work this out and get a value for it, that's okay. If you type it into your calculator like I've got right here, as usual, enclose the entire bottom in parentheses, or else it's just going to multiply by 0.056, and that's going to throw things off. So when we work all of this out, I got a time frame of little under 1.2 years, 1.19 years in this instance. So that's how long it's going to take for it to grow. So this is sort of a smaller scale version of those doubling time calculations that we saw back in Chapter 5. Also, we don't have any exponentials floating around. So this example, again, builds off the formula. We didn't have to do too much excessive, muddling around with it to figure out where we wanted to go. The next couple of examples, we're going to be looking at things where we're calculating what you might call an effective interest rate, where one's not really given to us. We're sort of trying to figure out the R in this instance. So flipping back a bit, we have ourselves a guy named Joe. Joe bought some tech stock. We're going to focus on a single share of it. I know in the actual investment market you don't normally buy single shares of stock, but you get the idea. We're going to be able to tell the interest rate just on what's happening on this one share. So he spent $16 on a share of this tech stock. At the end of the year, it pays out something called a dividend, so he gets paid $1.25 for his share. And the stock share price spiked over the course of the year. By the end of the year, it's selling for $30. And we want to know what sort of interest rate Joe got on his investment. So we can translate this into the language of our simple interest formula. The amount he paid for that share of stock is our principal, $16. So we've got that guy. So we don't know R. The time frame, it says he bought it basically at the beginning of the year, and so we let it sit. So T is just 1 year in this case. And then we need to try to figure out the interest, which is a bit more intricate here. So we've got two basic components to his interest, quote unquote interest. So on the one hand, he got paid a dividend, $1.25. That's not the entirety of his interest, though, because we can also basically, the idea here is we consider how much the share price went up as a growth, as an interest. So we went from $16 to $30. That's an increase in, that's right, $14 per share. So we take the dividend, we take the gain in share price, add them together. That's our effective amount of interest that we built up, 1525. So now we can feed this into our simple interest formula. 15.25 equals P, 16, times our effective interest rate, times the T value of 1. He really doesn't matter. He kind of goes poof. So to get R by itself, we just divide both sides of this equation by 16. Again, I guess technically if you wanted to divide by 1, you could, but it doesn't change anything. And when I worked this out, I got an R value of 0.9531. We would normally report this as a percentage. So move the decimal point a couple of times. We have yowza, 95.31% interest. That's a lot. At least to me. I mean, again, I don't know. I'm a math teacher. So, all right. One example down, one more effective interest rate example to go. So bear with me a moment as I make sure I'm in the right place in my notes file. So it's the very last example now where we go from super, high risk, tech stock kind of stuff to sort of the epitome of stability of borrowing money from the Treasury Department. So we're talking about buying what we call a T-bill, and we're told that the T-bill in 24 months it's going to be worth $10,000. They tell us that in order to get that $10,000 24 months down the line, we have to give them $9,750 up front. And so we're working out, again, an effective interest rate in this case. I've got a hunch that the Treasury Department would actually just give you the interest rate, but let's just roll with it. So in this instance, we know how much we put into this guy. Our principal is $9,750. The time frame it says is 24 months, so T equals 2 for us this time around, and we know how much interest we end up earning. So, I mean, technically, again, you could use the future value thing with the 10,000. I think it's just easier to peel out how much interest we, accrued, which is a whopping $250 if you go from 9,750 up to 10,000. So, again, feed these guys into our formula. So our I is 250. 9,750 is my principal. We don't know the interest rate. That's what we're after. This time around, we do need to keep track of the T. So and if we maneuver this thing around, 9,750 times 2 should be what? I think 19,500. So then when we work out that value, we get 0.0128. And again, if you convert this into a percentage, moving the decimal point twice, 1.28%. Joe looks really, really brilliant now in comparison to whomever's buying this T-bill. But that's one of those things, again, I'm at danger of talking out of my depth, but T-bills are sort of like the epitome of stability and dependability versus the somewhat volatile world of tech stocks. So that's one example. Got one more I want to take a look at, and then we pull the curtain. So it's the same problem, still dealing with the T-bill, but the idea here is it says the bank charges an $80 fee, and then we look again for an effective interest rate. It actually took me a bit to figure out exactly why that's different. It's like, well, we're still making $250 in interest. Again, the idea here is effective interest, so we're actually going to roll that $80 fee into how much we've paid for this thing. So this stuff needs to go. That changes our principal from 9,750 to 9,750 plus 80. If we add that in, 9,830. That brings down our corresponding interest because it's not like we're suddenly getting an extra $80 out of our T-bill. So now we're only earning $170 in interest after 2 years. This is disheartening. So again, filling in the blanks, I of 170, P of 9830 times R. The time frame hasn't changed, still 2 years. So that stuff is all still intact. So again, moving everything around to get R by itself, we have 170. I'm going to leave it like this just so I don't, gamble and get my multiplication wrong and then have it recorded for the internet to remember it for eternity. So, as usual, if you don't work out the multiplication here first, when you put it into your calculator, parentheses, they're important. 170 divided by that guy, and as you might expect, the interest rate goes down. I got 0.0086, or less than 1% interest over the course of 2 years. Again, you pay for stability. So that's simple interest. Again, it doesn't come up all that often on its own, but it's sort of the building block that a lot of the stuff we're going to see going forward is anchored on. So stay tuned. We will see some more content with some more sophisticated investment buildups in the future.